Anyways. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Bloodborne randomized stream. I'm here with my friend Ben.
Hello.
So essentially what this stream is going to be is we're going to be running through all the bosses of the main game. Not sure how far we'll get tonight. Main bosses including required and optional. We're not doing the DLC because after the last time we did DLC, believe me, 9 hours of failure cut together into 3 30-minute chunks.
Yeah, I've seen better runs in my shorts.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want to fight Koss again. That's basically it.
I was never going to get that back. 6 hours of my life.
6 hours is yours. I spent 9 on it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, essentially, each boss will have a different weapon set equipped to it. So, some of these are I arranged them in such an order that most of the time there's not too much of a challenge, but I also had to give up using some of my better weapons, such as the Ludwig's Holy Blade, until higher cart bosses such as Abritus. But I have not played Bloodborne in quite a while, so this could go very poorly. And this is also New Game 10. But most of these weapons I think are plus 10 at this point. Plus this level 310 character or something like that. So the one thing that's kind of annoying about Marvel is that because it's now being worked on by like the official Marvel studio headed up by Disney.
Okay.
Only the Marvel properties that they own are going to be getting this stuff. So anything that Sony or Fox owns. So no X-Men. No Spider-Man.
Okay, Spider-Man was one of my favorite characters. Mostly because he's just awesome. May not have always had the best moveset or kits, but
yeah,
he's just a great character.
He's still fun. And no Venom. Like, Venom in Marvel 1 and 2 was, like, spectacular.
Venom and Spider-Man is almost what made those early games. Like, that rivalry was so hyped up through the comic series. Like, you know.
And for me, it's just like, well, there goes Wolverine, Jean, most of my team. Well, fuck. Because, like, I fucking love playing as Wolverine because I love the ability to rush down and do all that stuff. Oh, and Sentinel's gone, too. And the thing is, they've also only showed some of the roster, and it might be a smaller roster this time.
Okay.
Now, granted, Marvel 3, especially with Ultimate Marvel 3, you're dealing with a big roster because it's everybody together. But it might take some time before we get back up to the full roster that we used to have. And I've got a bad feeling that a lot of that's going to be relegated to DLC. Not with Capcom. Like, the way they've... Like, I love Bloodborne, but every time I hit triangle, two-hand my weapon, I just end up eating the blood. Stop doing that. This isn't Souls, but it is Souls. I'm confusing that way.
Bloodborne was kind of there. We're not done with Souls 3, so we're gonna put this out.
But at the same time, this game had, like, visually has some of the best elements.
Yeah, honestly, this is that kind of 1800s sort of somewhat like London industrial but
It's not an impossibility to do so.
Dark Souls game, Bloodborne could be that's the thing that's been saying. It's like, hey, are we gonna get an Armored Core-esque Souls game next? That'd be kind of cool. Like, it would almost combine the New Vegas mech suits with Warframe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, if you can think of that.
Of course, the Moonlight Greatsword will appear in whatever it is.
And the giant Berserk sword.
Yep. The Dragon Slayer and the Sum facsimile will reappear. What do I have next?
It seemed too easy.
Well, I'm a level 310 character with stupid high stats, and every weapon I have is pretty much a plus 10.
Right, okay then, Mr. Hoity-toity.
Guess coin. Boomhammer. Right. So this is one thing that's going to be annoying and to cut tension a little bit, is having to come back here and swap gems.
It gives me enough time to burp in between bosses.
I go like that. Wait till we get all the way to the top.
So Drew, you know Murphy's Law? Anything bad that can happen will happen.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard of I think it's Cole's Law?
I feel like I have. What is it?
Mayonnaise and cabbage.
That's such a slow burn.
It's my favorite joke.
It's just like, oh.
So you have to pause between it, otherwise
yeah.
they'll catch
Otherwise, and you have to say it in certain a way where people have to think about like, what do those two words together actually mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm working on my my joke build-ups.
I see.
This is a good one too. So I was at the doctor's office. I think it was like 3 days ago, and not the waiting room, but the exam room, with the table with the doctor. The exam room. So I'm sitting there. I'm on the table, and it's probably about 20 minutes before the doctor comes in. So she walks in. Not a bad looking 40, 45, 50. We'll call it.
Sure.
And yeah. But yeah. So she walks in and she's looking at my chart. Looks at me kind of confused. Chart, because you really gotta stop masturbating. So I asked her why, like what damage could it possibly be doing, and she said, "Well, I'm trying to talk to you."
Oh, that's good.
Part of that one is you almost forget it's a joke. Okay, so this weapon doesn't seem to be too bad. But these move set.
Yeah, and like it's sort of one of those where you can up the damage by just proccing it, and then you just put it sort of a one-time use kind of thing.
The one thing I find interesting about this game is there's no F.
Yeah, everything's done by bullets.
Yeah, and there aren't really spells, you know. I mean, you sort of got some, but...
Like, the thing is, there are spells, there's no viable way to use spells in a, what I would call, combat build.
Well, that's... Yeah. It just seems like a very, weapon-oriented game.
Yes.
Which is refreshing from Souls, because some of the spells they have are just absolute BS to the max.
Yeah.
The literal definition of
someone figured out that the new miracle in the DLC, which is Lightning Arrow, which is essentially a beefed up lightning spear that you can essentially point like a boy. Or I can't fucking tell.
You point it like a boy?
Yeah.
That seems very Catholic of you.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Point it like a bow and arrow and fire it. The cast time is actually a lot faster than what the animation looks like.
Okay.
So you can chain it into something like lightning stake or the flame grab and crush. Because the casting animation actually gives you super armor.
Okay.
So people have designed faith builds that are one-shots, because the lightning arrow will do, say, 300 something, and then the lightning stake that you follow it up can do 1,000.
So you're basically doing 1,300 burst with whatever else you can time into the half second before and after the combo.
With extremely low FP costs.
Something I love about the Dark Souls series is you can theory craft to like as far as you want, and there's still something better.
Yep.
Like you're never going to be the best in that game. There's always something you can learn, always something you can pick up.
Because there's always a new turn on using a weapon in a different way, or thinking about an engagement in a different way. Like, I didn't know this, but until recently... Extreme punk horror. I imagine you're talking about the faith when you say that's crazy. What I recently learned is that the pickaxe in Dark 3 is actually classified as a great hammer. So it has the same moveset as a great hammer and can be spec'd for the same damage.
But it's got, in theory, better damage?
Because it's actually a smaller swing, because it's a lighter weapon, and doesn't require a whole lot of investment into carrying weight.
So the moveset offers a lot more DPS, even though the damage per hit might be slightly lower than one of the great hammers. The moveset has quite a few tricks that can really land those key hits and start a stun lock for a dirty combo.
Also, you have Perseverance as your weapon art.
Exactly.
So you can spec that and essentially tank hits with it.
And if needed, you can start a combo, weapon swap, and just a disgusting finisher.
No, this is a specialized run where we are randomly assigning different weapons to different bosses, and just... It's sort of a Fashion Souls-ish run where I just play around with various weapons. I find it interesting that the second boss in this game you essentially fight like you fight the last boss in Bloodborne.
Yeah, very carefully.
This environment is actually rather annoying to fight in because of all the gravestones.
Yeah, my thing with Dark Souls is there were a lot of ways you could basically just parry every move in the right position. In a position on the staircase where he couldn't actually get you. It happens you to tree facing.
Yeah, I have not played this game in a while.
It's all good.
Let's see. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Typo.
Because, well, Maria, you have to essentially pair the set with each weapon. If you're not properly doing Fashion Soul, then what are you doing with your lives? Because when armor doesn't matter, all that matters is fashion.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that I like about 3 is armor doesn't matter because your carrying weight is max 70 and you just wear whatever the hell you want. Because all you need is a decent shield.
Actually, I usually play 3 with no armor. I know this is a high dex build to get the ultra lightweight. Usually the bandits actually use the primary weapon. And I just love the moveset. I'll play a luck build to maximize my bleed stacks. If needed, I can get a raw longsword, and stats don't matter. I'll get luck to about 40, and the missed out stats, the bonus items are that selling the armor, so it wasn't more than stats really quickly. And that's my damage for essentially that run in most of the PvP scenarios.
I often just night class with the fire infused longsword, and because so many things stagger to fire in the early game, and then afterwards, once you get to Lothric, finding the Astora Straight Sword and just raw infusing it, you can churn out like 300 damage per hit.
Oh yeah, there's that one bonfire.
It resets every time, doesn't it?
It's at the bottom of the tower. The cold night that you face after the boss.
Yeah.
So if you kill, what's your name at that point? You get that. That actually scales with luck. That sword.
Right, Anri's sword.
There we go. So I've done luck builds, like a luck faith build with that. It's kind of like a snowball. It's really weak until you get the items and the levels. After some Twinkling Titanite and everything, you are just golden and rolling in the damage.
Or Refined, yeah. Yeah, Refined is one of... Refined Astora Great. Good lord, that thing. Because B&B scaling, so a quality build, you're destructive. Yeah, this worth the fight. It's a little annoying, but at least it smashes the great stones out of the way.
Second time's the charm.
Boomhammer is so good.
Bro, there should be some fun ones coming up looking at this list.
What's Bloodstarve? Bloodstarve's the Kirk hammer, right?
There we go. Should be interesting.
Because the Kirk hammer is the first weapon where I looked at it and was like, okay, I understand why the whole transforming weapons is cool. It's because of the Kirk hammer. Because it makes so little sense when you look at it from a like physics and mechanics point of view. Because it's like, okay, I'm now taking this sword that is maybe about 2 inches across, sliding inside of essentially a solid piece of rock and lifting it onto my shoulder and then swinging it around like a madman.
Welcome to Bloodborne.
Yeah. Witch of Hemwick? Alright. So, I would say, so number one, Witch of Hemwick, if you run in there with no insight, none of the little summon guys spawn, and then you can just take on the boss itself. Number two, I would say, when you find her, try and get behind her and just charge attack and visceral continuous. That's probably the best way to fight that boss. There we go. Much better. Okay. Tempering. See if this works or not.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can like enlarge that so we can see the chat better if anyone types. However, every time I do that, I erase everything that said Grey Wolf. That's what I'm doing for this.
Ah, okay. Well, I can keep an eye on.
Okay. There's my stuff here. And they keep missing it. Ashen. That's what. Ashen. There we go. Yep. That. And then don't think. Well, I might as well bring these along as well.
So have you been following the developments on it recently?
I wasn't aware there were any developments. What's been said?
Well, you know they've been re-releasing the movie.
Well, they're doing the remake of the series, yeah.
Yeah. They've the trailer they launched. There's actually quite a bit in there. And it's tempted me to reread the book and rewatch the original series. You know.
Well, the original series is like it's good for all hail the Ashen One. The original series is like the miniseries is like it's okay, but the real selling point is just what's his name? Tim Curry as the clown, because Tim Curry doesn't have like a level of Tim, you're overacting. There's just go or not with Tim Curry. And I love him for that.
I think he was actually probably... I couldn't think of a better actor for that role.
No. Like, I can maybe see... Because it also depends on how you interpret because I've never read what it's like in the book, how Pennywise is supposed to be in the book.
Essentially, Pennywise is a form of a greater presence.
Huh.
So the idea is the Native American mythology, the turtle that created the earth, plays a role in this idea behind Pennywise. Pennywise being the contradicting evil force can have good with bad. Like God versus Satan kind of thing. Pennywise is the Satan to the God in this story. And the demonic form it comes up with is a jester or clown, which is kind of fitting with how creepy it can be. There's actually a theory that's based off of a true story. In the, I think it was the 60s or 70s, there was a man who would dress as a clown, who would go around town at night and try to lure young children into his van.
I bid you farewell.
And a lot of people think that the story of it is based off of this guy dressing as a clown, which is really the first kind of creepy clown thing. This is a 30-year-old, 40-year-old thing nowadays. Like, it's not new.
Exactly.
Basically, Pennywise doesn't exist as a form. He's more of a demigod-like being that takes the physical form of what he chooses. So there's several different clown variations in several forms in the original movie or TV series, I guess you could call it. miniseries.
Yeah, it's a miniseries.
And you see several of them, and it's really interesting to see the forms he takes at the time that he takes them. And if you watch the trailer, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but there are quite a few hints that it's very comparable to the miniseries and the novel. With a few minor sort of modern twists, such as it's set in, I think it's the 80s as opposed to the 50s, which is a really interesting timeline twist in my opinion. But one of the main factors for me is the original miniseries came out in 1990. The movie is coming out in 2017, and every 27 years Pennywise comes out, which is kind of interesting because every 27 years after the miniseries they make the movie.
The one thing I have to say I'm not big on, because the trailer that I watched ends with him coming out of the water and rushing the little kid, right?
Yeah.
What I'm not big with there is the rapid cut with the music, because to me that's modern horror cliche shit. And it just stopped that. Like, the key here is that your monster isn't exactly that terrifying when you bring it out into the light, and also that multi-jump cut stuff. It's just dumb.
Now, part of that, they may be showing certain scenes that would be more action-packed and attention-grabbing for the trailer.
Yes.
Because if you look at Pennywise, he's actually a very smart, intelligent, time-sensitive character. He's really aware of everything that's going on, despite what appears to be.
Well, we're going to deal with that minigun in a second, but we're going to use a different armament.
Yes, essentially with Pennywise, he knows what he's doing at all times. He's not some crazy off-the-wall character. He's cold and calculated. Which goes back to that sense of being a greater presence. That's if you actually read the books, he's this like very, very old as the planet being who's just awaited the arrival of mankind. Essentially to develop a settlement near his dwelling. And every 27 years he'll come out, eat his fill, so to speak, and then hibernate.
Return, yeah.
I think this idea that he's not jump just really doesn't make sense. And that basement scene, if you actually look, it's got a modernized washer-dryer. So it's not that old creepy house. It's actually, I would assume, one of the main characters' houses. Basements.
Yeah.
So it may not actually be Pennywise, but just a vision of...
Well, that was the thing about the original series, is that each kid saw him differently.
Yeah.
And he preyed upon that individual child's like personal like fear or problem.
Yeah. Which leads me back to that cold, calculated, knows what he's doing. Otherwise, he would have just appeared as the same vision to every character. Overall, there are a few interesting scenes that seem to be, for example, with the hands in the door.
Because that's got to be a vision of somebody. That's somebody's thing,
that
right?
scene could be a different idea behind the scene with the birds. But again, we're really gonna have to watch it for cuts. Like in that same basic scene when you see his face poking out of the water. In the reflection, you don't actually see his eyes, you just see the sockets.
Huh.
Now, there's two theories behind that. One is how it was rendered in the animation.
Yep.
And the second is because Pennywise technically doesn't exist. Like a vampire reflection in a mirror, for example, it just doesn't occur.
Okay.
So you're gonna see this hollow body without a spirit piloted. So in that sense, Pennywise, you see, it may very well be the shell of a body, with that higher presence piloting it. So you'd see his eyes through your eyes, but in a reflection, you just see that rotting corpse.
Okay.
With the makeup.
I think probably one of my favorite things from the trailer was the taking control over the projector and then slowly speeding it up over time. I thought that was a really well done piece.
Yeah, actually, if you look at that scene, probably one of the best scenes in the trailer, in my opinion, because the wall behind it is a map of the town, and they're projecting a map of the sewage system onto the wall. As you see Pennywise take over the projector, the map of the town disappears from the wall, and it's just the projection. Which I'm not too sure how that's going to play out in the actual movie, but I just found that really interesting from my perspective, anyways. His realistic ability to remove something from the environment. The other thing that's interesting is it was actually filmed in Ontario.
Really? Well, that's because like Canada's cost of filming here is so much lower compared to the US.
Oh, ridiculous.
Like that's why so much stuff, like so many city stuff, is just shot in Toronto because it's just like, well, we can make this look like New York.
Yeah, oh no, entirely. Or Hamilton too. But basically, it was a small town. Reference things like the Turtle, Jackson, the crosses and the trailer around the monument, those are real in that town. It's could be considered the barrens of the shallow river, which would lead to the sea, I imagine. Some options for Pennywise.
Let's start. One of those bosses that he's easier in the Chaos dungeons because the area that you fight him in allows you to essentially rotate around him and get away from some of his attacks a lot easier.
Yeah, he seems like, if you can predict his movements when he does his charge and sweep attacks, he seems very linear and forward.
Yes.
So if you have that evasion around him, I imagine he's free damage when he's doing those.
Mm-hmm.
Weapon in Bloodborne?
Ranged weapon?
I think it was a bow or something.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is for one of the later bosses.
I was going to say, if we weren't doing the random, that might be an interesting option. I've always preferred the range and the damage over time weapons. It just seems Like, poison is one of my favorite elements in the Dark Souls games.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because you can toxic or poison, ideally toxic, your opponent, and then play it safe. It's a very hit-and-run tactic. It's very smart and calculated. You get your parries and your bursts, and then you evade. I find it takes a bit more patience to play.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can pull it off, it works wonders.
Yeah, no, like, the nice thing about the bow is that not only is the bow pretty good, the sword that is its untransformed version is, like, just a really fast weapon. Bloodstar's weird because he'll often, like, just go off on his own. He really kind of doesn't... I would love to see how his AI is actually put together.
I would imagine it's actually you'd be desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just lost in whatever almost rage you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just attacking the corner like that, blinded by rage, seeing red, really fits with this boss, lore-wise. To me, it makes sense.
Because it has to be, from sort of a programming standpoint, it's, okay, lock onto player and do attack flurry, and then once that set animation is finished, essentially rotate and find player again, and then rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm. Which... It's very sporadic, because wherever you are, you can control where the AI will lock itself into.
Yes.
But you want to be careful for those corners, because if you get caught in that sort of it's almost like a side room.
Mm-hmm.
There's very little room to escape.
Yes. After a certain point, we can always call on our summon friend, who should be somewhere down here.
Yeah. And then we could always go to a different boss and then come back, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The only thing with the fog walls at this point is you miss that sort of early boss advantage the first time doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is really prominent in the Dark Souls titles. Bloodborne has personally.
ROM is the biggest one, because the first engagement ROM doesn't spawn in with spiders. Spiders come in after you hit ROM for the first time. So, however, when you fog gate ROM, it automatically spawns with like 10 something spiders.
Okay. So there's that one.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think there's one suffers quite a bit of toggle syndrome, I'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are bosses where, like in Souls 3, to the first very good year, basically get 3 hits and
True.
actually in animation. But if you go through Frog Wall, he's fully activated before you're even on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
You can use slightly the same champion as well. The only one that I find is complete anti that is the Ancient Dragon.
Okay.
Because it will always come in on the same fly path and land.
Have you played Crucible?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Xbox, sir.
Yeah, 360. The only thing I haven't done with Souls 1 is the DLC.
Yeah, the Painted World. It's really well designed, but it more Souls 1.
I think it's cool additions to the story plus having all stories and Gatling gun. Yeah, if you get 4 people using it in an invasion, you can just meat grind people.
Yeah, like the Armor of Thorns.
Oh god, that's great. Why like hammer time? That's fucking great. Okay, who's next? Think Vicar is next. Yeah. Or, you know what? Let's go get bagged. So we can go fight, what's his name first. Because that's going to be... It's good to get that one out of the way so that we don't have to go back and do it. Which is... What one is that? Parl. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, this is one of the ones where I don't play with this weapon nearly enough. And then we'll grab that. Three.
So I was talking to my friend of mine, and he was in the King's Guard in Iran. This is like the 80s and 90s.
Huh.
This is like old, like pre-U.S. Middle East, for the most part, war interactions. Mm-hmm. This is when Iran had a king still. And he was explaining the origin of parachute pants to me.
Okay.
Just the hammer time column made me think of it. And basically, they would tight at the waist, tight at the ankle cuff, fitting pants for maximum mobility. That wouldn't slide around on you, and they would tie a rope around the waistband.
Yeah.
And so the guerrilla fighters in the Middle East, they would drop trow, so to speak, to take a number 2, and they'd have the rope tied around the waistband, and they would have it wrapped around their arm on their trigger hand.
Oh.
So as they stood up, in case of emergency, the pants would slide up with them, and they were ready to go at that moment. They didn't have to muck around with anything.
Yeah.
That's the origin of parachute pants. Was guerrilla combat.
Now we associate them.
Which is very amusing to me after hearing that story.
Should be. Come here, bag man. Get me in a bag. Come on, put me in a bag. Thank you.
Of course, gives you the old face palm, anyways.
Well, from a distance, they can also suck you in with that attack.
I really haven't played this game in a while. Ooh, sorry about the wrist cracks there.
Oh. We're gonna need to go, up. This way. Okay. Whoa! Wow.
That. Oh, jeez. That's,
The Bagmen are powerful.
I was gonna say, sounds like he caught you off guard a little bit.
I don't often come back here, so I often forget where they spawn in and where they are centralized to. He's right there. We can still light this thing. And this door opens from the other side. So we actually want to go back down. Here. Damn it.
Oh no. Punch back is no trouble.
God damn it. Stop it.
Small seems open.
Fucking Bagman.
How can they do that much damage with an empty sack?
No, they kicked me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, vasectomies aren't that powerful.
At least we got the lamps, so we'll spawn up there this time.
That's true. That's true.
There we go.
The one thing that I always love about the Soul series and Bloodborne, no matter how overpowered or geared up you are, you can die to the most basic of enemies.
Oh. One thing I think I might do is I think I'll bring in my friend here. Just to make this fight a little better. Because Parl is an asshole. Doesn't always like to cooperate. Oh, you can't fire paper? That's dumb. You're dumb. I'm going to get this dark party started right. You know what you guys need? Feed off the humanity of other humans.
Red words are my favorite.
Damn it, Barl. Stop. So he shall be again. Interesting about Paro is when he's not in electric, he looks so the dark thing part of it, or parlay, yes. There we go. Thank you.
I just think that's an interesting piece of lore that may not be touched on quite.
I don't know if Vody caught that or not.
But I don't know. I haven't played this game quite enough to pick up on all the lore pieces.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, Vicar Amelia. There. Up. That.
Oh, excuse me.
Where's that goddamn gem? There it is. What is my combination for Vicar Henrik's or Heinrich's? Fight Volt with fire. This is true. Because Parl's a weird beast where he's definitely not weak to Volt. I don't know if he is even weak to fire. I think. Love the hat for Heinrich.
I gotta say,
fancy
the hats in this game are very appealing to me.
You've seen this one, right?
I've seen the one, yeah. It's like a advanced Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's a fucking pile bunker on your arm. Oh yes, I already bought this. So there's no qualms on that. I can just go right through the goddamn door. Continue. Do that. See if we can do Jonas. What time do you have to be back?
But whenever.
You don't have work tomorrow?
I work at 12:30, but I can be late
okay.
night, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, alright. Start my job Monday at 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah. You're just for the university?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous.
Well, and I get, because I told, they asked me, hey, Andrew, do you need a work laptop? And it's like, well, I own a laptop, but it's kind of old. And I don't really want to crash while I have some important files on it. So they're just going to give me a loaner laptop, which is probably still better than mine.
Have you ever come into contact with Josh Edmondson? I know him quite as in he works for my father.
Yeah, the steak driver's pretty fucking good. I'm interested to see how it deals with Vicar, because Vicar can be tough if you don't play your cards correctly.
But is the steak driver the correct card? I think it
often, like, the Achilles heel to Vicar Amelia is the whirligig saw. But it's sort of the Achilles heel to any beast type because of its serration. But the thing is, I want to save whirligig for something that's going to give me a lot of trouble.
here's my thing with the steak driver and the vicar. The vicar appears in some level of undead.
Oh, she's beat.
Which you could argue living. Waco's argue undead. Steak generally things. Sure. Maybe a little bit. Maybe it's pointing to leftover.
Yep.
Who knows?
This is the one part I get about getting to Vicar Amelia is getting through this fucking mess of dudes here. There is that
quite thrilling with the pebble. Yeah.
Yes. There's the other way that I can do this. Yeah, let's try that. Because once you once you beat Bloodstarved, you get access to this lift, which allows you to gain a shortcut inside.
I don't know why they give miniguns to people in wheelchairs, but it sounds very, very American.
Anything plus ganking is bad.
Awesome.
Like,
plus ganking.
So, one of the bosses in the Ringed City is, I don't know how much you know about demons, but you...
a little bit.
Yeah. Do you know about the boss that's the old monk?
I'm not really familiar with that one.
So, the old monk is in one of the areas, I think it's the prison area. And essentially how it works is in offline mode, the old monk works as a he's sort of a generic looking boss. But in online mode, he becomes any person who invades and is summoned into the boss and plays as the boss. There is a boss in the Ring City that works like that.
Oh.
However, because this game is so popular, people who try and play as the old monk often run into the problem of the people that they are invading to fight have a full entire fucking gang squad with them. And like the fight ends in a matter of seconds.
That's kind of bad.
Yeah. However, they do, as sort of an assist and counter to that problem, they get a painted guardian that comes in and can cast bountiful sunlight.
Okay.
So there's a bit of buffer in how badly the fight is going to go against them, essentially.
Okay.
Because that painted guardian takes quite a few hits, and to experience the painted guardian sword is probably one of the most dexterity weapons in the game to fight against.
I would agree with that statement.
Like the just combo potential you have with that thing is stupidly overpowered. Alright, Vicar. Transform into Falcor! Go. Excellent. Another one down. Alright. Start checking some stuff off. Check. 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 Oh, Vicar. Now it's the witches. Alright. Oh yeah. This, like, cocked, full power with fire paper is 2,600 damage.
Wow.
On crit can go up to 5,000.
Okay, so GG.
The only thing that I've seen more powerful is the Whirligig Saw using the L2 mow the lawn version. I've gotten up to 9,000.
Well.
Shit. Nah. Just thought, like, getting to Logarius is going to be interesting because I haven't interacted with what's her name at all.
Well, I have faith in you.
What do I need? Yes, this thing. The thing that became the PvP monster. Yeah, right? Fucking 9,000 damage is what you can get using that thing. And what's my stuff right now? Yargle, right. Always like the Yargle set. Alright. Yeah. I love the cage helm. That's my favorite part. I love having not to be concerned about leveling up this character. It's always nice because my current requirements to level up are 900k souls.
Oh, okay, you're fine.
Yeah, and I'm a 310 character. Okay. Want to pause and go find some chips?
I am very, very down for...
Okay. We'll be back in a bit, stream.